Okay, we got one more. Just as the shir right now, well, the open house is going to be recorded. So it's good if you're here. If you come later, it's fine. Whatever is said tonight will be recorded as well. The goal, just as a heads up, the goal of tonight's open house is not a shir. It's just for those who are interested in joining the course or knowing what this course is about to be a little bit more informed. And we're going to hear a little bit more pratim about that. But just to begin tonight's open house, a few divrei psicha from the manal of the program, Rabbi Chaim Yisrael Wilhelm.
Okay, Shalom Aleichem. You hear me, Rabbi Levi?
We hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Rabbi Levi, and for all those that are joining today. I'm just gonna the Laman Yomodu Chosson training Madrich Hasanim group is a very chashuv group, and we'll start with Divrei Psicha and Bracha for all those that are joining the open house. Shkoyach for giving a few minutes of your time to look into this, and Shkoyach for all the staff and Laman Yilmudu for making this happen, and of course for Magidei Shiurim that are preparing Shiurim for this whole upcoming Zman. Obviously, something very special to speak about this is that how it began and where it began from. So, L'man Yilmudu Baruch Hashem is going on many years already of a shiurim, and going on Baruch Hashem 4 years strong of limud, shiurim, smicha, yeredeya, hilchas nida, and many other things. A chiddush, a breakthrough was how we were able to make Baruch Hashem two classes of adding Chosson teacher training. And the reason why I say it's a breakthrough in a chiddush is because many people throughout in the past time were looking for Chosson teachers, and it was difficult to find because there was very few, and it was just difficult. And I know many people told me that we have to, you have to make it easier because people, that all over, and there's people that are far away. And I remember that people had to travel. If you have to travel back in the day when we had other Magidei Shurim, and you had to travel, take off a week of work or a chassan or yeshiva and go away. And we realized more and more that the need and the necessity is something that we have to make it available for more people and to have that opportunity. V'lachein, this is where it started, and this is already last year. 2 years ago, we already had a opportunity of teaching for Chassanim, for Madriche Chassanim. With the Hatzlocha, we started 2 years ago, a large group, which continued, and it snowballed into a second-year group. And this year, we're looking into a third-year group, Baruch Hashem, to have the Chosson training. And I know that's something very special. There was a lot of thought process in making the curriculum. I take the opportunity in thanking all those involved, and I know that some of the Magidei Shurim are going to be speaking shortly, so I'm not going to give away what their job. They're going to be speaking exactly how their Shurim are going to be placed. But one thing, if you're on this group right now, you'll realize that you'll know that there's something special about you, and that is that there's people out there that want hadracha, and they connect to you, and because they connect to you, you're the right person. I speak about myself for a moment. Years ago when I was currently a rabbi of a shul, but back in the day there were just many. They were very young. They were bachrim and singles, and they all wanted to learn the halachas. And I realized that they're all coming to me, and I at the time realized I better relearn everything. And I went over to Rabbi Chaikin at the time, and I didn't have a group like Laman Yilmudu to make a curriculum statement to be able to make a whole how to make the shir work. Rather, I had to go to Rabbi Chaikin for a second time, even though we already learned Chosson, but to be a trainer, to become a Chosson teacher. And however it was, that was me personally. It took me a whole summer to make it happen. And every day for an hour, we were on a Zooms back in the day before Zoom. So the same thing I share with all of us here, that the Nakuda is that there's something special about you, and the Eibishter gave you a talent. And that talent is very special, and utilize it. And I want to finish by saying that when you do have that opportunity of being part of this group, you'll realize that there are many individuals that connect to you, and therefore you should utilize that by staying connected with them. And even after the chasana, you can give them hadracha. So with that, this is a unique group. There is no other moisid that I could say that has a chassan teacher training online course, or not, or regardless if it's online or not. There isn't. We started it 2 years ago when we realized there was a very strong need, and there was like very few, mamash, a handful in the shchuna or even all over. And it happens to be something that we realized that Baruch Hashem, but the lady Kala teachers, there was much more. And they worked in it, and Baruch Hashem, they were very happy to see that Baruch Hashem, the men as well, the Chassanim will be worked on properly, and we have a lot of hadracha for many of the Rabbanim and the Gedolim, and including part of this hadracha Chassanim is Rabbi Chaikin will be speaking one of the first shiurim, as you saw the syllabus, as you'll see it. So I want to say thank you for joining. I want to say thank you for a few minutes. And that's the little bit I want to share with you. The Eibush should bench all of us, have lots of atzlacha, and use your talent, and to be marbetz Torah, marbetz tahara, and obviously to ultimate tahara very soon. And everyone should be matzliach. And I thank you very much, Rabbi Levi, for preparing this day. Thank you.
Okay. So the structure of the courses you're going to hear shortly is divided into 3 parts in general, with various other Maggidei Shurim in between. But the way the course is structured is that first, the Chassanim teachers are going to be learning the halachas. Then there's a second section, and that section is going to be taught by Rabbi Hershkop. We're going to hear from him soon. Following that, there's going to be a section which is around Shalom Bayis and marital life in general. And that's going to be from Rabbi Simpson. That's going to be the second section. And the third section of halacha is going to be taught by Rabbi Lipsker, who unfortunately is not with us tonight. And he will be basically teaching the area of intimate life, of marital intimacy, and that's the final section of the Chosson teacher training course. So first, we're going to hear from Rabbi Hershkop a few words on the section that he will be teaching. Rabbi Hershkop. Rabbi, you're muted.
I think he's muted. Unmute
Rabbi,
yourself.
I apologize. Thank you, everybody, for being present today and choosing to join Laman Yomadu on this wonderful journey. Like Rabbi Willem said, it takes a special person, a person that's willing to be the gateway to other people's taras and mishpacha, and to inspire them to learn the halachas and have the appropriate hashkafas, and you could be making a huge difference. I'd like to say thank you to Rabbi Levi for arranging this. Thank you to Rabbi Willem, to Rabbi Crombie for making Laman Yilmadu a reality, and for and Rabbi Simpson and Rabbi Lipsker, which I have discussed on the Akatan to be one of the 3, but to be part of this. I'd just like to begin with the Gemara in Ksubas. The Gemara says that on the pasuk in Tehillim, that it says Chosson omedas la'ad, the righteousness lasts forever. So the Gemara gives 2 opinions. Ksubas daf nun. One of the opinions is somebody that writes the Svarim, writes Sefer Torah or other Svarim, and he teaches it to other people. So his righteousness lasts forever. And we can say this about all of you, Chosson teachers or soon to be Chosson teachers. Time will fly. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna see. And Be'ezus Hashem al Shem Asid, we can already say Chosson teachers. The Akais of Svarim is not just physical Svarim; it's also human beings. The Chumash in Bereshis writes, a pasuk zeh sefer told us Adam. Told us Adam is a sefer. So a kaisav svarim u'malamdam la'acherim. When you're teaching and you're inspiring, and you can, and I had this, and Rabbi Simpson can attest, and Rabbi Lipsker and Rabbi Willem who teaches Chassanim as well. Sometimes you have somebody that says, "Oh, I'm not very interested," or "I'm just doing it because I need to go through the motions," and if you can inspire him with a little bit of passion and he knows that you know it and you're excited about it, and you can impart taras mishpacha on him in a much greater way. And sometimes it's dafka those talmidim that end up being keeping a very strong kasher going forward, and you're making mamash a massive difference. You're really writing, imprinting, engraving upon them. It's more than just writing svarim. And it's Chosson omedas la'ad, this righteousness lasts forever. You look in all the Rebbe's letters, and there's hundreds and hundreds, if not more, about the importance of taras hamishpacha. And it's for different people that needed different things, whether it was shalom bayis, infertility, health, parnasa. Many of the time, the Rebbe's solution was taras hamishpacha. Taras hamishpacha is the bedrock, is the foundation of a Jewish home. So, my part of the course will be teaching the halachas. Be'ezus Hashem, we're going to try to do it in a very thorough but very simple, easy to give over, easy to teach manner. And one thing I want to focus on is the idea of being able to relate. We all have a shtickle of Moshe Rabbeinu inside of us, like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya. When Moshe Rabbeinu, he asked the Eibusher for Isha Le'eda, someone that can relate to each and every single person. And as a chassan teacher, something that we have to, you're going to have different chassanim. Some are going to be a little bit more from, a little bit more chassidus, some are in between, some are very modern. But the chassan teacher has to be able to find the pathway into this guy's heart and into his mind, to be able to inspire him and to be able to relate. So hopefully I'll be able to impart on you, in a very simple manner, the halacha, the way it's supposed to be, the way it is, and the ability to relate to each and every chassan. I wish everyone a lot of hatzlacha, and I want to thank everybody involved, Rabbi Crumby, Rabbi Wilhelm, of course, and Reb Levi for making this happen.
Hey, Grace and Yashir Kayach, Rabbi Hershkop. And as we mentioned earlier, the Chosson teacher course training is we're not just giving the halachas, we're giving the full chassanim package, which also includes the area of Shalom Bayis. And for this, we're going to have the second section of the training, which is going to be delivered by Rabbi Simpson. So without further ado, Rabbi Simpson, you're on. Perfect. Yashir Kayach.
Okay, Shkoyach, Rabbi Bisk, Shkoyach, Rabbi Wilhelm, and everyone else who was involved with the Laman Yilmadu courses. Like Rabbi Levi said, I'm going to be giving the second chelik of the course, the area that talks about Shalom Bayis. The Rebbe writes in a letter that Shalom Bayis is the Eben HaBoichin of a Chassidische Junge Mann. So it's not just a way to make marriage easier, to make marriage more enjoyable, but this is actually part of being a Chassidische Junge Mann. A Chassid of the Rebbe is to literally to have Shalom Bayis. Gemara says that when the pasuk says "V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha," everyone talks about Ahavas Yisrael. Who is the pasuk "V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha" talking about? So first and foremost, it's talking about your wife. How do we know this? It's a beferish Gemara in Kiddushin. The Gemara in Kiddushin says that it's forbidden to someone to be mekadesh a woman until he sees her. Why? Shemet tisgane be'einav, because maybe when he'll see her, he won't like her. Torah says so we see first and foremost, Ahavas Yisrael is for a person's wife. Now, a lot of times it's very easy to be kind, to be nice to the person next door, to your friend, to somebody who's, maybe an acquaintance. And the people that are closest to us, sometimes we have the hardest challenges because we're with them day in, day out. We see them when they're in a good mood, when they're in a bad mood, in the ups and the downs. And a lot of times that's more difficult than, just relating to the person who doesn't mean as much to you. So the purpose of the Shalom Bayis section of the course is, first of all, to impart the importance of investing in Shalom Bayis and to recognize that it's a very, very big investment. There's a lot of work that has to go into making a marriage succeed. And another point that I think is important for people to understand is that we talk a lot of times in terms of good marriages and bad marriages, but there's really no such a thing. All that there is a spectrum. There's a spectrum, and a person who has a bad marriage can have a better marriage, and a person who has a good marriage can have an even better marriage, and it goes further and further and further. It's not as if once we reach the point of Baruch Hashem that we, people will say about us that we have Shalom Bayis. That's it. We reach that pinnacle. We can always have better Shalom Bayis. We can always improve it, and that's really the goal of the Shalom Bayis section, to teach us and really to inspire both the Chassan teachers and for them to be able to inspire the Talmidim, the actual Chassanim, to want to continually further their education and to see how they can make a good marriage even better and better. We're going to focus in the Shalom Bayis part. We'll talk about two aspects. First of all, getting the marriage off the ground. That's really Shana Rishona. Shana Rishona is an interesting time. There's a lot of novelty, but there's also a lot of challenges. There's a lot of room for misunderstanding. People they're not used to the other person. So there's a lot of, things get lost in the translation. So that's one That's one section of literally, getting over the hump, getting the marriage off the ground. Then there's the other half, which is that once the marriage gets off the ground, things have a tendency to plateau. Like we said before, we reach a certain point and we think, okay, fine, now we can go on to cruise control. And so the second part is going to be more to inspire us to continually invest in our marriage and to make it better and better. I always tell Chossonim that getting married is a lot harder. It's a lot more difficult than you think. As hard as you think it is, it's a lot more difficult than that. But as rewarding as you might think that it may be, it's 10 times more rewarding than you could ever imagine. So this is really the avodah. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to focus more on principles. There are many different types of people, like Rabbi Hershkop just mentioned from today's Chitas, the Kshem, Shein, Parsifim, Shavis, and Deisem, Shavis. So there's many different types of people, and there are many different types of marriages. Every marriage is a dynamic situation. It's a dynamic relationship between two people. Even if those same people would then go and get married to two different people, that would have, again, two different marriages. Every combination of two people is a brand new thing and is unique in its own way. And so the application of the principle is going to be different for every specific couple. But nevertheless, the principles are the same. So we're going to focus more on principles. Obviously, we'll give individual examples, practical examples, but obviously the examples are different for every individual. You can't be keveh masmeris. The principles, on the other hand, those are what are equal across the board. Now, some people might wonder, why is it, so important to have so many Chosson teachers? It's like, flooding the market, right? Flooding the market with Chosson teachers. But again, the answer really is, like we said before, that, as many different types of people as there are, that's how many different types of Chosson teachers there need to be. The point of the course is to inspire you to be your type of Chosson teacher, to be the best Chosson teacher that you could be, so that you can reach and you can connect with the specific group of people who are going to connect most to you. Obviously, like Rabbi Hershkop said, we try to connect to each person that comes to us on their level. But, as a matter of course, you're going to connect obviously more to certain people, to certain types of people, rather than to other people. And so the idea is that the more Chosson teachers we have, the more types of Chosson teachers we have. It's not just the information that you're getting in the course. It's also the information to the inspiration to further your education and to become the best Chosson teacher that you can. Obviously, part of that also involves investing and applying whatever you learn in your own marriages. Move on Vigam Poshet. So I look forward to communicating with the Olam, and once again, Yishkoyach to all the people involved, Rabbi Krumby, Rabbi Bisk, Rabbi Wilhelm, and the other people who are doing the course, Rabbi Hershkop and Rabbi Lipsker, and I wish everybody Atzlacha Rabba Muflogim.
Very big Yeshur Koyach, Rabbi Simpson. I want to touch on something that Rabbi Simpson mentioned and also Rabbi Wilhelm said earlier. Being that this is our third year that we're having a class, I've collected over the year a lot of different feedback from Talmidim. And what comes out is that really this course, for those asking who is this course geared to, could divide it into three kittas. The first kitta are people that are looking to become Chosson teachers. The second kitta are people that are already Chosson teachers that are looking to brush up on their knowledge, make a more of a structured way of teaching. And the third kitta is the most general, which is really anybody who's married. Anybody who's married is somewhat of a Chosson teacher in his own life, and they can gain from it as well. So there was Talmidim this year that I spoke to that told me that they weren't looking to really teach Chossonim at all, but they knew that they had something to gain, and they said this was one of their favorite courses that they took because it just really improved their own Shalom Bayis life and of course their own Zehirus and the Halachos of Taras Mishpacha. Being that this is a repeat course, it's our third year, so we have with us tonight one of the Talmidim from our second year. He is a shliach in Pittsburgh, Rabbi Yehuda Leib Welton.
Thank you. Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Baruch Hashem, it was a very, very good year. I'll say, a couple things that kind of everybody that already spoke kind of touched on things I was going to say, but I think it just speaks to the truth of the matter. I'll say for me, I have been hearing things in the realm of chassan teachers since I was a child, growing up in a Chabad house, on campus and in Berkeley. Hearing just overhearing the discussions students would have with my parents and different things, and especially when it came to different myths, different misunderstandings and assumptions people had about what Bechlal marriage is supposed to look like, and what a Jewish marriage is supposed to look like, and what a kosher marriage is supposed to look like, etc. And to see, and then and it didn't stop when I was in yeshiva and Bachrim just chatting, and then when I got older, an older Bacher who I had friends start to get engaged, some get engaged early, while I was still on shlichus, and turning to me, even sometimes when they had chassan teachers, because there was, like was mentioned before, there are chassan teachers, but how many people were available? And they weren't necessarily people that every bacher felt comfortable talking to. Some bacherim felt very comfortable, but others not so much. It was just who was available. And I was only a bacher, but okay, I had a little bit of knowledge, maybe more than an average bacher because of my background and my own life experiences. And then when I got engaged, I experienced it myself that all the big chassan teachers that I wanted to go to, everyone seemed busy. They not unavailable for chassanim, but quite the opposite. They had already started with a kvutza of chassanim. They didn't do one-on-one anymore because they were so busy that they did kvutzas, and I had gotten engaged just at the worst time. They had already started. So I was able to meet with different teachers and different people. But Lamaisa, when this program was first being talked about and when it first came up, and I was very intrigued, both because, like I had mentioned, people had already approached me with advice that, of course, things I knew about, I would talk about, but there were so many things I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But but as well for myself as a married man for how many years, there were so many things that were spoken that I had ideas of, that I had kind of the right hadrach, I had kind of right perspective on, but we really went into, and there were things that each one of the modules of the course highlighted uniquely, but there were also things that were brought up by every single teacher, even the guest teachers, that I think were so important and were so beneficial just in my own married life, but especially as perspectives on life bichlal. And I'll say something that came up a few times, in discussions, which is that marriage is bichlal. It's our perspective on avodah. Not, the Rebbe's father would say very often that avodah doesn't start until marriage. Real avodah Hashem doesn't start until you get married. To know this relationship, to know so many things that Chassidus, the entire Chassidus is a mashal of this kind of connection, and including healthy boundaries, and how important that is to know where I start and where I begin, and another person starts, another begins, mashpia, makabel, how that knowing those boundaries is what facilitates proper yichud. Yichud tata, yichud ilah. It doesn't happen if it's just all mishkababel, then okay, we're just going to mush everything together like a cholent. It doesn't work. You have to know how different things interact. And I'll say, yeah, each one of the three modules with that really helped with that and touched, like I said, they blended a little bit, but in a very, very good and healthy and really informative way. And the guest speakers were incredible. And yeah, I am very much in agreement of the more the merrier. That mamish, there should be. It's okay to have another chassan teacher per household. Why not? The main thing is that people have a person they can feel comfortable talking to. They can feel comfortable talking about anything. They can be open with. And that leads into, honestly, the uniqueness of such a program where a chassan teacher is so, it's like, it's a course that is teaching mashpiyim. And not to say that every chassan teacher should be someone's mashpia, not to confuse the roles, but in many ways, guys will turn to their chassan teacher in that way. And many times you have to say, okay, I'm not unless you are their mashpia, which many cases people taking these courses are their mashpia and are their rav. But for those of us that aren't their mashpia, their personal mashpia and their personal rav, we can still help them and take them by the hand and say, okay, this is a question for a mashpia. This is a question for the rav. I can help you find someone if you don't have someone. I can help you, figure out how to word this and it's a great honor, and I really felt super supported by every member of the Hanhala, the staff of this program. Whenever any kind of question or any challenge myself came up, very well supported in all of this. And yeah, so Gracie Yashikayach, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. And thank you for making it tonight on whatever it took to come here tonight. So Yasher Koyach.
Thank you.
Okay, now just to the practical side, there's obviously this is a course and it's going to be structure, there's going to be classes, there's going to be times. So after hearing all the general idea, let's get more of a specific picture. So just to structure things, we're going to have a short video presentation that's going to kind of explain not how this course in particular works, but how any Laman Yilmadu course works, how there's a portal and your shiurim are recorded and everything, and it'll be explained very nicely. I'm going to share my screen. Sorry. And share.
At Laman Yilmadu, everything is done so that you will be successful in your studies. With top-notch Magidei Shiur, quality learning materials, and wide-ranging support, which makes success more feasible than ever. We stay with you all the way until the Chag HaSmicha, when you receive the long-awaited certificate, signed by the Rabbanim of our Vada Smicha. Before the semester begins, you will get a package with the learning material for the entire year. You will find the Shulchan Aruch booklets, detailed summary booklets, and booklets with charts and diagrams. For most courses, all the material is translated into English, except for advanced courses like Learning for Dayanis, where the material is in Hebrew. This enables someone who is not fluent in Hebrew to learn halacha on a high level. Along with the booklets, you will receive a folder with a pen and loose leaf to write summaries. In addition, if you join the Shechita or Safrus group, you will also get everything you need, including knives and Shechita stones, ink, a quill, and parchment. All of our shiurim take place live in the evening and are on Zoom, along with classes that take place in person at our study center in Crown Heights. This enables every student anywhere in the world to participate in the learning from home or the office, and to take part in a live shiur with questions and answers at a convenient time and with maximal ease. Before classes begin, we will send a detailed calendar with all the dates for classes for the year. In addition, 15 minutes before a shiur, we will send a reminder with Google Calendar with a Zoom link. Every student has a personal account on the site, which you can enter with a username and password. After every shiur, a video recording of the class is uploaded to the account, and an email is sent with a link to the class. This way, if you want to review the class, or in the event that you were unable to attend the class, you will be able to watch the recording the next day. In addition to the video recording, a link will be sent with an audio version that can be listened to as a podcast. So even while driving or doing work that does not allow you to watch a video, but allows you to listen, you can do so easily. Another useful tool that you will find on the site is a quiz which appears after every shiur with a number of questions and multiple choice format. You are not required to take the quiz, but it will help you see to what extent you mastered the material that was taught. In addition to the personal account on the site, there's a WhatsApp group for each class separately. This is an excellent way to be updated, be in contact with other students, ask questions about the material, and in general, to make the learning an experience of a shared journey with others doing the same thing. Every few months, each student is given the opportunity to show his progress in both written tests as well as oral tests conducted by Choshev Rabbanim. Our staff is here to help you regarding any question you may have. The Magidei Shiur are available to answer questions on the material. The office staff does everything they can to help every student in every way.
Okay. That video kind of touched on a lot of the Gashmistika technical things about how the course is structured. I'm going to reiterate a few points, and then we'll take questions and answers. And that's it. We promise it'll be only half an hour, so I don't want to go too much over time. Two important points that I want to stress, which is number one, the timing of shiurim and attendance. The shiurim for this course are going to take place on Tuesday nights from 8 to 10, with the first shiur being Tes Zayin of. So just basically exactly a month. In 4 weeks, exactly 4 weeks from yesterday, will be the first shir, 8 to 10 p.m. every single Tuesday on Zoom. Now, the unique aspect of our courses in general, and this course, of course, in particular, is that our shiurim are live, and we're not just giving recordings, we're all on the same page together. We're all learning it together. We're all moving from class to class to class to class. And that's the uniqueness of it being live. As such, in order to really be matzliach in whatever course you're taking, in this one in particular, it is mandatory, it is highly, highly, highly suggested that you be there by every single shiur live. Now, the reason that there's a portal where all the shiurim are recorded is in case chas v'shalom you miss a shiur, then it's uploaded. You can listen to it the next day. But definitely, it's not. It's a b'diavad, shabbat b'diavad. L'chatchila, you should be there live, and it adds to the chabur shaft. And I'm sure Rabbi Welton could attest to that. That being there live definitely adds to the learning. The other thing is regarding tests. So in the video you saw both regarding that there's oral farhers and written tests. For this course, it's a little bit different than regular because they're not going to be a farher on every single section because of the nature of the course. But obviously for the first section, for the halacha section, there's a written test. And the second and third sections, a little bit of a different test. I believe more of like an essay, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Finally, regarding the unique sections between every section, there will be specific like lectures. They're going to be single lectures on a certain topic by guest lecturers. Rabbi Chaikin is going to come on for one. We're going to have somebody from Taharenu come on for one of them. Another lecture is going to be delivered by like a psychologist or a therapist, I believe. And then right at the end, there's a short section about giving Chosson classes or these types of shiurim to Mekuravim and Bali Tshuva. And that's pretty much it for this course. We'll finish off just with the pricing. It's for the cost of the course is $3,300, and it's going to be paid over 12 months, so $275 a month. For all those that are here today, there's a special open house coupon which you will receive to get 5% off for all those that are in attendance. So when you sign up, you will sign up with the open house coupon. Okay, that's it. Any questions and answers? You don't have to. You could ask it now, or you could write it in the chat and try to answer any questions. You could also just ask it as is.
For the Shalom Bayis section, the principles that Rabbi Simpson mentioned before, the principles these are taken from Ikris Kodesh or from Sichas, or what exactly? I'm just curious what.
Would Rabbi Simpson, would you like to answer the question, or?
He's not here.
Rabbi Welton, do you want to answer the question? I could give you from what I know about the course, but I could let Rabbi Welton answer.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, there were a lot of siftas and letters of the Rebbe that we went through. There were, this is a good test of my memory, but yeah, and it was very, I felt very mainly informed, and the perspectives were all based al Taras HaKodesh and I'll be the Rebbe's perspective on things and letters. There were sometimes other things mixed in that were very informative and very helpful, but everything was, I mean, throughout so many letters and siftas and things that I myself actually went, on looking up the Marmakaimis and it being fed these sources and I was able to go down some nice rabbit holes of really to get it really clear. But it was presented very much it was good farbrengen, I'll say. It's very good.
Definitely the chat. I mean, I wasn't live. I wasn't for the entire shiur there, but I saw what's going on in the chats. Say from the more interesting Laman Yilmedu chats. I'm just on the chat. I'm going to put up my number for anybody who wants to reach me for more questions afterwards or to require regarding signing up. So that's my number there. There you have it. Yeah.
And in the third section about in the third section I guess like what's, because I know that there are a lot of halachas about marital intimacy. Is it also, are we also pulling from halachas, or is it more like hashkafa? Like what exactly is the
So
what's
yeah, I mean,
the content exactly?
most of the halacha related issues are covered in the first section, but obviously when Rabbi Lipsker is speaking, everything is, it's kind of all mixed in one. I think in one of the first shiurim, he also said that it's kind of hard. The whole section, it's divided into like 9 or 10 shiurim, but there's a lot of like repeat and what is siman reish. A lot of it, he says, is basically siman reish mem in Orach Chaim. So a lot of it is, again, repetitive. How to explain it. I mean, I wish he was here. He would say it better. He would say it a lot better than I can. But from the few shurim that I heard from him, so it's a lot of it's in and out of siman reish mem, and of course hashkafa.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Any more in the chat? So, shukayach everybody, and sorry that I went a few minutes over my allotted time. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out by phone or by email, and we hope to see you all in Tazayin Ov. Mirz Hashem. Tzlacha. Okay. Nacht, everybody.